What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video here. Today we're going to be talking about the difference between an exhaustion wick and a wick fill. All right, so let's get into this. So first, let's talk about a normal candlestick here. Let's talk about a normal candlestick here. So a normal candlestick will have a full body and a top and bottom wick, looking something like this. So this I would consider a normal candlestick. I like to take my trades off normal healthy candlesticks, right? So let's now get into let's first start off with the exhaustion wick here. So an exhaustion wick is when the wick is bigger than the body of the candle. All right, I'll repeat that again. An exhaustion wick is when the wick is bigger than the body of the candle, right? When the candlestick has a bit bigger wick than the body, that is an exhaustion wick, right? Looking something like this. So we have a full body, we have a bottom wick, but we have a steep wick to the upside, right? And this wick here is bigger, it's larger than the body itself, right? When you see candles like this right here, when you see candles like this here with the wick being bigger than the body, that is called an exhaustion wick. And an exhaustion wick is a candlestick that has a heavy or a strong rejection to the direction we've created the exhaustion wick. So an exhaustion wick is a sign of rejection in the area we've created the exhaustion wick. So exhaustion wick equals rejection wick. In this case, we've created this exhaustion wick to the upside. We've created a steep wick here to the upside, which means we have rejected the upside, and this was a strong this area of price had a strong level of rejection here since we have created this exhaustion wick, right? When you have a candlestick like this one right here, this is not one to take buys off of, right? We do not want to take our buys off this candle to attempt to fill this wick here, because this is a wick that has a strong rejection to this area of price, right? So what would happen most of the time, I would take a wick fill here, right? And we would come up and fill the wick like halfway, and then we would just reject and then create resistance, leaving us with that rejection wick previous to the exhaustion wick here. So don't want to take buys with a steep rejection to the upside. Don't want to take a wick fill on an exhaustion wick candle, right? And just overall don't want to trade a confirmation candle that's an exhaustion wick. So an exhaustion wick is when the candlestick has a bigger wick than the body. All right. A wick fill is going to be when the wick of the candle, the wick of the body is not bigger, right? When the wick is not bigger than the body, that would be a wick fill. So let's see. Ready? So we have a body, and we have a top wick and a bottom wick. We can even make this a little bit steeper, right? Let's measure this now, right? Let's make sure this is an exhaustion wick. Let's measure the wick. The wick is 53 pips. Let's measure the body. The body is 75 pips here. So in this case, this wick is not bigger than the body, which means it's a good candlestick, good confirmation candle to take the buys coming up, right? So what I would do in this case, right, when there's enough range for the wick to be filled, I always look for entries on the break of the current candle low. So usually we'll wait for a high here, and then some sort of bottom wick to be formed on the candle, and then on the break of the highs, right, we can get in on the current candle low with enough range to fill this wick here, and then to continue moving on to the next range, right? So in this case, it would make sense to look for a wick fill because the wick is not bigger than the body, which means it doesn't have a rejection wick on it, but it's a good healthy candlestick to continue making healthy candlesticks to move in the direction that we are closing, which is bullish, right? So that's really going to be the main difference between a wick fill and exhaustion wick is the wick of the candle bigger than the body, right? If the wick is bigger than the body of the on the candlestick, then that wick has a large rejection in that area that candle is closing into. But if the wick is not bigger than the body of the candle and we're shorter than the body, or just about the same, then that's a good wick fill to take trades. And I will always look, right? When you have healthy candlesticks, with a full body and a top and bottom wick that is not bigger than the body of the candle, that is a good confirmation candle to trade in. And when you have enough range coming up to take a wick fill, always look for current candle entries here, right? So you can take the trade with the wick fill going up, going in the direction here. All right, so that's going to be the main difference between an exhaustion wick and wick fills, right? Understanding the sizes of the candlesticks, the sizes of the bodies, the sizes of the wick fills, all of that goes with it. And yeah, so that's all we're going to touch on here today. Very short and simple video. Appreciate you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys got some value. Let me know if you guys have any other any other certain videos we could talk about here on this channel. Hope you guys all have an incredible day, and I'll see you guys a little bit later.